Hey there. Do you ever find yourself getting fired up during a debate with friends? Or maybe you avoid those conversations completely because they feel too intense.
Yeah, or maybe you felt nervous about saying your opinion in English, worried it might come out wrong or cause an argument.
We get it. But today, we're going to show you that debating in English can actually be fun, powerful, and even kind of exciting.
Welcome back to the English podcast for listening and speaking, where your English gets stronger through real, meaningful conversations.
I'm Emily, your passionate, sometimes emotional, always enthusiastic co-host.
And I'm Brian, curious, calm, and occasionally the one who likes to stir the pot. Just a little.
If you enjoy today's episode, please don't forget to like, share, and comment. It really helps us grow this community and bring more awesome content to learners like you.
All right, so what's today's big topic?
One word, debates. But not just shouting matches. We're talking about friendly, thoughtful debates on real social issues like climate change, equality, and technology.
And most importantly, we'll show you how to express your ideas clearly, confidently, and respectfully, even when the topic feels a little emotional.
Because let's be honest, social issues matter. They're not just abstract ideas. They're about real people, real problems, and real feelings.
And that's where learning English becomes personal. When you talk about something you care about, your English becomes more alive.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll walk you through some essential persuasive vocabulary, words that help you sound smart, respectful, and confident when giving your opinion.
Then we'll jump into 3 real debate topics. One about climate change, one about social equality, and one about technology. Spoiler, Emily and I don't always agree.
Nope. We've got some strong opinions, but we keep it respectful most of the time.
After that, we'll slow it down for a quick grammar workshop, just a few simple structures to help you upgrade your sentences and sound more persuasive.
And finally, we'll wrap up with a memorable moment, a powerful, emotional sentence you can share or repeat whenever you need a little boost.
But before we get started, we need to lay down some ground rules for how to have a healthy debate in English.
Rule 1. Listen first, speak second. Take a breath, hear the other side, and then respond.
Rule 2. Use I statements. Say, I think, or in my opinion, instead of you're wrong. That helps keep things friendly.
Rule 3. Ask curious questions, like, what makes you feel that way? Or, can you give an example?
Rule 4. Acknowledge good points. Even when you disagree, say things like, that's a fair point, or I see what you mean.
And Rule 5. Challenge the idea, not the person. Be firm with the topic, but kind with the human. Always.
If you follow these 5, not only will your English improve, you'll sound more mature, more thoughtful, and honestly more persuasive.
And now, it's your turn. Think about this. What's one social issue you've talked about, or maybe even argued about with friends? Could be climate change, education, privacy, anything. Tell us in the comments.
Use something simple like, in my opinion, because, or I believe. And here's why. Trust me, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just real.
And here's a challenge. While you're listening today, every time Brian and I disagree, try to spot the exact phrase we use to keep it polite. That's where the learning happens.
Yeah, how do we disagree with kindness? If you can find those moments and copy the language, you'll level up your English fast.
All right, ready to load up your brain with some powerful persuasive vocabulary?
Let's do it.
Let's go. All right, now that you're warmed up, let's get into the heart of persuasive language. If you want to share your opinion in English and actually have people listen, you need a solid set of vocabulary tools.
Not just fancy words, but real useful ones that help you sound clear, respectful, and confident, even when you're talking about something emotional or controversial.
So let's build your debate vocabulary toolbox. First up, agree and disagree. You probably know these, but how you use them matters. I agree connects you to the other person. I disagree can feel a little sharp, so we often soften it with phrases like, I'm not sure I agree, or I see it differently.
And then we've got opinion. It just means what you think or believe. In English, it's polite to introduce opinions with phrases like I think, I believe, or in my opinion. These keep the conversation open, not aggressive.
Next argument. No, not a fight. In debates, an argument is your set of reasons. So when someone says, that's a strong argument, they're saying your reasons make sense.
And to back up your argument, you need evidence. That could be facts, studies, numbers, examples, even personal experience. If you say, reading is better than movies, your evidence might be because it improves imagination.
Another great word is perspective. It means your personal way of looking at something. Two people can see the same thing, but from different perspectives. It's not about right or wrong, it's about viewpoint.
Which brings us to counterpoint. A counterpoint is a response that challenges an idea. If Emily says books are the best way to learn, I might offer a counterpoint like, movies help visual learners. It's not an attack, it's just a different way of seeing the issue.
And when someone gives a convincing argument, that means their words actually make you think, maybe even change your mind.
If it's logical, it flows clearly from point to point. And if it has an emotional appeal, it speaks to your feelings, not just your brain.
So now that you've got some vocabulary, let's talk grammar, specifically how to state your opinion.
This is where you want to master phrases like I think, I believe, in my opinion, and even softer ones like I tend to think, or it seems to me. These all help you express your thoughts without sounding too aggressive.
Want to see it in action? We're going to do a mini debate right now. I'm going to argue passionately that reading books is more valuable than watching movies.
And I'm going to respectfully disagree. Let's go.
In my opinion, reading is more valuable because it builds focus and imagination. When I read, I'm the director, the actor, the audience. It's personal and deep. I believe books make us better listeners, and there's evidence showing reading improves memory, language, and empathy. Honestly, reading just makes me feel calmer and more connected to myself.
That's a fair point, but I think movies offer a different kind of learning. They combine visuals, music, and language, so for many learners, they're more accessible. Plus, good films are full of emotion and storytelling. Documentaries help us understand complex issues quickly. I believe movies can spark empathy just as much as books.
Maybe, but I still think reading invites more reflection. You set the pace. You pause, think, underline, and reread. It feels slower, yes, but also deeper.
I hear that. But I'd also say this. If someone struggles to focus while reading in English, they might find movies more motivating. From my perspective, both are valuable, but for different learners, at different times.
See what we're doing here? We're using opinion phrases like I think, I believe, and in my opinion. We're also using emotion words like connected, calmer, empathetic, motivated. That's the balance, logic and feeling.
Let's give our listeners a few sentence starters to practice. Repeat these after us. Say them out loud if you can.
I believe reading is more powerful than watching.
In my opinion, movies offer a quicker way to learn.
I tend to think books help me focus.
From my perspective, both can be useful, but in different ways.
Good. Now let's shift to disagreement, because that's where debates really grow.
If you want to disagree politely, try phrases like, that's a fair point, however, or I understand your view, or even, I see it differently. It keeps the conversation open.
Let's do one more quick role play. Brian, give me a simple opinion.
Okay. I think social media is mostly a good thing.
That's a fair point, but I feel it can also be really damaging, especially for teenagers. See how I didn't shut him down? I added my opinion with emotion and respect.
And when you want to ask for more details, try, can you give an example? Or, what's the reason behind that? It shows you're curious, not just waiting to argue.
Now it's your turn. Let's get you writing in the comments.
Do you prefer books or movies, and why? Use one of the phrases we just practiced.
You can start with I believe, or in my opinion, and add a reason. Bonus points if you use an emotion word like calming, exciting, inspiring, or relaxing.
Quick recap. Your debate toolkit now includes opinion starters, words like argument, evidence, perspective, counterpoint, and emotional words like hopeful, frustrated, and inspired.
And now you know how to state your view, disagree with kindness, and back it all up with clear, powerful language.
Feeling ready to try it in real life?
You've got this. Let's move on to our first big issue, climate change. And trust me, we've got some strong feelings on this one.
Yeah, this debate gets real.
So, let's talk about something that feels huge, sometimes a little scary, but also incredibly important, climate change.
Yeah, this topic brings out strong emotions in people, fear, frustration, even guilt. But it can also spark hope, action, and real conversations. That's exactly what we're doing today.
We're going to debate both sides of the climate conversation, and as always, we'll help you learn the English you need to talk about it clearly, respectfully, and persuasively.
Our grammar focus here is on modals, words like must, should, can, and might. These are essential when giving advice, sharing opinions, or making strong arguments.
But before we dive in, let's warm up with some must-know vocabulary. First, environment. That's the natural world around us. Trees, oceans, animals, the air we breathe.
Next is pollution. That's anything that harms the environment. Smoke, trash, plastic in the ocean. That's all pollution.
Renewable energy means energy that doesn't run out, like sunlight, wind, and water. It's the opposite of burning coal or oil, which are limited and dirty.
And sustainable means something we can keep doing long-term without destroying resources or hurting future generations.
Carbon footprint is the total amount of greenhouse gases our actions produce, like driving a car, flying on planes, or eating lots of meat.
The climate crisis means that these environmental changes are no longer slow or subtle. They're serious and happening fast.
Urgent means we need to act now, not someday. That's the tone of this entire issue. Urgent.
And then we've got responsibility. Who should take action? Governments, companies, individuals?
Finally, solution. That's what everyone wants, right? A way to stop or slow this damage before it's too late.
Okay, here we go. In this debate, I'll argue that technology will solve the climate crisis.
And I'll argue that we can't wait. We must act immediately, even if it's uncomfortable.
I believe that we should trust in innovation. We've already seen massive progress in clean technology. Solar and wind are cheaper than ever. Electric cars are going mainstream. I can help us optimize energy systems. From my perspective, if we support green tech, we can reduce emissions without losing jobs or comfort. That makes me feel hopeful.
I hear you, but I strongly believe we must act faster and more directly. We don't have time to wait for someday. Governments must stop funding fossil fuels. We should ban single-use plastics and deforestation immediately. The climate crisis is here. People are losing homes, facing food shortages, and dying in extreme weather. Honestly, I feel furious that we're still talking about waiting for tech when the evidence says we're already in danger.
That's a fair point. But here's why I'm still optimistic. If we make green energy affordable, people will switch naturally. The economy can grow alongside the environment. Tech can create jobs, not just cut emissions. I've seen how fast electric buses and solar panels are expanding. I truly believe the market can be part of the solution, if we guide it right.
Sure, but what about people who can't afford that tech? What about countries without access to innovation? We need climate justice. That means governments must protect low-income communities, farmers, indigenous people, those who contribute the least to emissions but suffer the most. In my opinion, this isn't just a climate problem, it's a human problem.
So maybe we agree more than we think. I'd say tech is a powerful tool, but policy and people matter just as much.
Absolutely. And this is where grammar matters too. Did you notice how we used modals in our arguments? Words like must to show urgency, should for advice, can for possibility, and might when things are uncertain.
Let's practice together. Repeat these after us. We must act now. Governments should stop supporting fossil fuels. Technology can help reduce emissions. People might not change unless it's easy.
Good rhythm. And if you want to make your message stronger, combine modals with examples. We must protect forests because they absorb carbon. We should tax pollution to fund clean energy.
And don't be afraid to show emotion. Language becomes powerful when it's personal. Say, I feel terrified when I think about the future. Or, I feel hopeful when I see young people speaking up.
Speaking of personal, can I share something?
Please do.
Last year, my city had a massive heat wave. I saw elderly neighbors collapse from the heat. I watched a park turn brown and dry. It made me feel helpless, but also determined. I started biking more. I donated to a reforestation project. I talked to friends. That's when I realized climate action starts with me.
That's powerful. For me, it was when I visited a wind farm last year. Standing under those giant turbines, hearing the quiet whoosh, I felt something shift. I realized technology doesn't have to be cold or mechanical. It can feel hopeful, even beautiful.
That's why we share stories and debates. They connect logic to feeling.
All right, audience time. Here are 2 questions for you. First, do you believe individuals or governments have the bigger responsibility to fight climate change? Use a modal when you answer. For example, I believe governments must act first, but individuals should help too.
And second, what's one thing you've done or want to do to lower your carbon footprint? Try to make it specific, like I've stopped buying fast fashion, or I plan to take the train instead of flying.
And if you want to challenge yourself, add some emotion. I feel proud when I recycle. I feel guilty about food waste. That's real English, real communication.
Let's do a quick recap. Vocabulary: environment, pollution, renewable, sustainable, carbon footprint, climate crisis, urgent, responsibility, solution.
Grammar: modals for persuasion. Must, should, can, might. Use them to make your point stronger.
And your secret weapon? Emotion. Speak from the heart and people will listen.
I gotta say, I feel motivated right now.
Me too. This topic hits hard, but also gives us a reason to speak up.
Coming up next, social equality, another powerful issue, and one where language really matters.
Let's keep the momentum going. Okay, deep breath, because this next topic is personal. It's something we see every day in our communities, our workplaces, our schools: social equality.
It's a topic that makes people feel a mix of hope, frustration, pride, and sometimes even confusion. Are we making progress? Are things fairer today than they used to be? Or is there still a long way to go?
We're going to debate both sides of this, but more importantly, we're going to show you how to speak about fairness, discrimination, and inclusion in English using powerful words and grammar structures like conditionals.
So let's build your vocabulary first. Ready?
Our first word is equality. That means everyone gets the same treatment, the same rights, the same opportunities, no matter who they are.
Then there's fairness, which is slightly different. Equality is giving everyone the same thing. Fairness is giving people what they actually need to succeed.
Discrimination is when people are treated unfairly because of their race, gender, religion, age, or something else. And justice means giving people what they deserve, especially when they've been treated unfairly.
Rights are the things every human being should have, like freedom, safety, education, healthcare. These aren't gifts, they're basic.
Diversity is when people from different backgrounds, cultures, languages, genders, all exist together. And inclusion means those people aren't just present, they're valued and heard.
And respect? That's at the center of it all. If we don't listen to each other with respect, change won't happen.
Now that we've got our key words, let's set up the debate.
I'll argue that we've made a lot of progress, that society is becoming more equal.
And I'll argue that while progress is real, we still have a long way to go, and there are still big problems to solve.
Here we go. I believe the world has changed dramatically in the last few decades. More women are leaders, more countries have marriage equality, schools are more inclusive. In my opinion, if we look at where we were 50 years ago, we should feel proud. That shows me that progress is possible, and it's happening.
I agree. We've seen some big changes, but I still feel frustrated when I see how many people are left out. If society treated everyone equally, we would all benefit. But in many places, people of color, women, disabled people, they're still facing big barriers. I believe we must keep fighting for fairness, not just celebrate progress.
That's a fair point. But I also think change takes time. If we expect perfection, we'll miss the improvement that's already happening. For example, if companies continue promoting diverse leadership, we'll see better decisions and more innovation. I believe we can be optimistic without ignoring the work still ahead.
I get that, but sometimes optimism can sound like ignoring pain. I've heard too many stories from people who feel invisible at work or unsafe at school. If leaders listen more, we would have fewer problems. I think we should focus on real voices, not just policies.
Let's pause the debate here for a quick grammar spotlight on second conditionals. This structure is great for expressing hopes, dreams, and what-ifs that aren't real yet. It goes like this: if plus past tense, would plus base verb.
For example, if everyone had equal access to education, the world would be a better place. Or, if society treated women fairly, we would have more female CEOs.
Want to try some with us? Repeat after us.
If government supported equal pay, women would earn more. If everyone respected each other, conflict would decrease. If schools celebrated diversity, students would feel more confident. Great. These sentences are polite, respectful, and still powerful. You're not shouting. You're imagining a better world.
Back to our debate?
Let's go.
From my perspective, awareness is growing. People talk more openly about mental health, gender identity, racism. If we keep talking, I believe things will continue to improve.
I agree. We've made space for those conversations, but we must also act. If we only talk but don't change systems, we'll stay stuck. Inclusion means action, not just words. In my opinion, governments and companies must set real goals and hold people accountable.
True, and I think that's already happening in many places. Laws are changing, language is evolving, workplaces are learning. We should keep pushing, but we should also celebrate the wins.
I love that balance. Hope with honesty. I just think we shouldn't get too comfortable. If we believe the work is done, we'll stop moving. If we stay curious and keep asking questions, we'll grow.
Can I ask you something?
Always.
What's one moment in your life where you felt the power of equality or the pain of inequality?
I remember being in a classroom discussion once. I raised my hand 5 times and wasn't called on. But my male classmates spoke freely. I felt so invisible. Later, one of them said, "Wow, I didn't even notice." That moment stuck with me. I realized being seen isn't automatic. It's something people have to choose to do.
That's powerful. For me, it was seeing my cousin, who has a disability, finally get hired after years of rejection. Watching him walk into that office with pride, it made me feel grateful, but also angry that it took so long.
Stories like that make change real.
Okay, listeners, it's your turn now. Question 1. Do you feel your country is becoming more equal or not? Tell us your opinion in the comments. Use a conditional. For example, if we had better laws, people would feel safer. Or, if people understood each other more, equality would improve.
And question 2. What does social equality mean to you personally? Maybe it's about being heard. Maybe it's about fair pay. Maybe it's about walking into a room and not feeling judged. Whatever it is, we'd love to hear it.
Time to review. Vocabulary: equality, fairness, discrimination, justice, rights, diversity, inclusion, respect.
Grammar, second conditionals. If plus past, would plus verb. A perfect structure for imagining a fairer world.
And the emotion? Always present, pride, frustration, joy, anger, hope. Use those words when you speak. They make your language real.
This was a powerful one.
It really was. Coming up next, we're getting a little futuristic. Are you ready for a debate about technology?
Oh, you know I've got opinions. Let's go. Okay, Brian, I've been waiting for this one. Let's talk about something real, something that's everywhere, even when we don't see it. Social equality.
Yeah, this topic, it brings out so much pride, anger, hope, frustration, and honestly, it makes us think hard about the world we live in and how we treat each other.
For sure. And for our amazing listeners out there, we're not just giving opinions today. We're going to show you how to talk about equality in English using powerful words and a really cool grammar structure that helps you imagine a better world.
Exactly. So stick with us, because this one might be emotional, but it's also full of the kind of language that really connects people.
All right, let's warm up with some vocabulary. First, equality. That's when everyone gets the same rights, the same chances, no matter their background.
Then there's fairness. That one's more about giving people what they actually need. You know, two people might be treated the same, but that doesn't mean it's fair.
Next is discrimination. That's when people are treated unfairly just because of who they are, race, gender, religion, age, anything.
And then there's justice. Not just a legal thing. It means doing what's right, especially when someone's been hurt or ignored.
Rights are the basic things every human deserves, like safety, education, freedom.
And diversity. That's when people from all sorts of different backgrounds and identities exist together.
But just being there isn't enough. That's where inclusion comes in. It means everyone gets a real seat at the table. Their voice matters.
And none of this works without respect. If we can't treat each other with basic human respect, we've already lost the point.
All right, time to dive into the debate. You ready?
Always. I'll argue that we've made some big steps forward, like real progress.
And I'll say, we've made progress, yes, but it's not nearly enough. There's still a lot of inequality out there.
Okay, here's what I believe. Compared to 20, even 10 years ago, we're seeing more awareness, more laws protecting people, more conversations happening out loud. If you look at leadership, media, even schools, diversity is showing up in places it never did before. That gives me hope. Honestly, I feel proud of how far we've come.
I don't disagree that there's been change, but I feel frustrated because it's not consistent. Some people live in cities where inclusion is normal. Others still face discrimination every single day. If everyone truly had the same chances, we wouldn't still see wage gaps, racial profiling, or hate crimes. We've started, but we're not there yet.
That's a good point. And I think this is the moment where we introduce today's grammar spotlight, because this debate is filled with it, right?
Oh yeah, so here's the thing. When we say stuff like, if people treated each other better, the world would be fairer, we're using this amazing little structure that helps us imagine a different kind of world.
It's that what if kind of sentence. You're not talking about what is, you're talking about what could be if something changed.
Right. So you take a situation that isn't real right now and you describe what would happen if it were true. Like, if society listened to everyone equally, things would change.
Or if every child had the same access to education, we'd all benefit. It's hopeful, emotional, and really persuasive.
Okay, listeners, let's do a little practice. Repeat after us.
If people respected each other more, there would be fewer conflicts.
If we focused on fairness, workplaces would be more balanced.
If leaders took action, change would come faster.
So powerful, right? This grammar helps you dream out loud, and sometimes those dreams can spark real change.
All right, back to it?
Yep. So, my take is this. If more people actually stopped and listened to the voices of marginalized communities, they'd understand the daily struggles many face. But too often, the loudest voices are the ones already in power.
And if we want that to change, then the systems have to change too. Schools, businesses, governments, they all have a role. If policies supported inclusion, then we'd see better outcomes for everyone.
You know, I once worked at a company where I was the only woman in meetings. I'd speak, and people would ignore it. And then a guy would say the same thing 5 minutes later, and suddenly it was a great idea. I felt so invisible. If leadership had created space for everyone's voice, that wouldn't have happened.
That's awful. For me, it was watching my cousin struggle to get hired because of his accent. He's smart, hardworking, but he kept getting turned away. Finally, someone gave him a chance. And guess what? He's amazing at his job. If more companies saw beyond surface stuff, people like him would thrive.
So here's the heart of it. Equality isn't just about treating people the same. It's about seeing them, hearing them, and valuing what they bring.
Okay, let's bring in our audience now. Question 1. Do you think your country is becoming more equal, or is it still struggling? Drop your opinion in the comments and try to use one of those what-if sentences we practiced.
Like, if more people spoke out, discrimination would decrease. Or, if everyone felt safe being themselves, society would be healthier.
And question 2, what does equality mean to you? Not just the dictionary definition, but your lived experience. Is it about fairness, feeling included, being able to speak up?
Tell us, we'd love to hear your voices.
Quick vocab check before we wrap. Equality, fairness, discrimination, justice, rights, diversity, inclusion, respect.
And grammar spotlight. Those beautiful what-if sentences. A great way to speak from the heart while imagining a better future.
Coming up next, our friend and enemy, technology.
Oof, this is going to be fun. I've got thoughts.
So do I. Let's debate it out. Okay, Emily, deep breath, because we are diving into one of the most loved, most hated, and definitely most debated topics out there, technology.
Ah, yes, the magic word that brings joy, stress, convenience, and total chaos. I have a complicated relationship with it.
Same here. 1 minute, I'm amazed at how AI can help us learn languages. And the next, I'm yelling at my phone for auto-correcting definitely into defiantly for the 100th time.
Relatable. So today we're tackling both sides. We'll argue about whether technology is making life better or worse, while helping you learn how to compare things in English like a pro.
Plus, you'll pick up some cool vocabulary to describe innovation, distraction, and everything in between. So, first, a few words to know.
All right. Let's start with innovation. That just means new creative ideas, especially in science and tech.
Progress is similar. It's about forward movement, improvement, growth. When things get better over time,
Distraction, that's a big one. It means losing focus, usually because your attention is pulled in too many directions, like scrolling TikTok during a meeting. Guilty?
always. Privacy means keeping your personal information safe, your messages, photos, location, and it's a growing concern in today's world.
Then there's connection, one of tech's best gifts. We can talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. That's amazing, right?
Totally. Productivity is about getting things done efficiently. Tech helps a lot with that. But addiction is the dark side, when we can't stop checking our phones, even when we know we should.
Artificial intelligence, or AI, is the brain of smart machines. It helps power voice assistants, translation apps, even this podcast script, kind of.
And screen time? That's the amount of time you spend looking at digital screens every day. For some of us, it's a lot.
Okay, let's flip a coin. I'll go anti-tech. You go pro?
Works for me. I'll start. I think technology is one of the greatest tools we've ever created. It connects people, solves problems, saves lives. If you think about medical advances, space exploration, education, none of that would be possible without technology.
I agree. To a point. But sometimes I feel like tech is slowly replacing real life. If people spent less time on their phones, we'd have stronger relationships. I've seen families sit at dinner all staring at screens. That's not connection. That's disconnection.
True, but let's be honest, tech isn't going anywhere. So why not use it wisely? If we focus on balance, we can have both digital and real life. Plus, technology helps people with disabilities communicate, helps remote students learn. I mean, come on, it's kind of amazing.
Yeah, but it also makes people anxious. The constant notifications, the pressure to be online, the comparison on social media, it's exhausting. If we didn't have so much screen time, I think our mental health would be way better.
I hear you. But think about this. If we took away technology, we'd lose access to so many important tools, like online therapy, mental health apps, meditation guides. I use a sleep app every night, and it's helped me feel more rested.
All right, I'll give you that. But let's talk about privacy. If companies stopped collecting so much data, we'd feel a lot safer. Sometimes I just mention a product near my phone and suddenly it shows up in ads. Creepy, right?
Super creepy. But I think that's where education comes in. If more people understood how to protect their info, tech wouldn't feel so scary. And honestly, some apps do give us more control, if we actually read the settings.
Yeah. I never read the settings.
Me neither. Okay, let's talk grammar for a sec. You probably noticed we've been comparing things a lot. Tech versus real life, apps versus people.
Right. So if you're listening and wondering how to make comparisons in English, it's actually super easy. Just listen to how we do it.
For example, I said, technology is one of the greatest tools we've ever created. That's a superlative. I'm saying it's at the top.
And I said, social media is worse for mental health than people realize. That's a comparative. I'm comparing two things.
If the adjective is short, like fast, you usually add "er." So, smartphones are faster than landlines.
If the adjective is longer, like convenient, you add more. Like texting is more convenient than calling.
Want to try a few with us? Repeat after us.
Online classes are more flexible than traditional ones.
Emails are quicker than letters.
AI is more powerful than we expected.
And just for fun, sleep is better than screen time.
Amen to that. All right, mini debate break. What's one piece of technology you love?
Easy. Noise-canceling headphones. If I didn't have those, I'd never get anything done. They are life-saving.
For me, probably my Kindle. I used to carry 5 books in my bag. Now, one tiny device. And yes, I still read every word.
And what's one tech thing that drives you crazy?
Easy, autoplay on videos. I blink and suddenly I've watched 4 hours of nonsense.
Mine is voice assistants that never understand me. Hey Siri, play relaxing music. And she blasts heavy metal.
Amazing. Okay, your turn, listeners. Tell us in the comments.
What's one way technology has helped you, and one way it's made things harder?
And if you want to practice comparing, use a sentence like, "This is better than that," or "I think this is more useful than that."
Quick recap before we move on. Vocabulary today included innovation, distraction, privacy, addiction, productivity, connection, artificial intelligence, screen time.
And our grammar focus, comparing things, like X is faster than Y, or this is more helpful than that.
So is technology saving us or hurting us?
Honestly, probably both. But the more we talk about it, the smarter we get.
And the more balanced our relationship with tech becomes.
Okay, time for a little break. Next up, our mini grammar workshop, where we show you how to make your argument stronger, smarter, and more persuasive.
Stay tuned.
All right, welcome back. That debate got a little spicy, huh?
Yep. And now it's time to cool it down with some grammar. But don't worry, we're keeping it fun.
This part is about making your English more persuasive, like when you want to convince someone or just sound super confident.
Think of it like turning up the volume on your opinion, without yelling, just using smarter words.
So instead of saying, "I think that's a good idea," you could say, "I strongly believe that's the right decision."
Boom, already sounds more powerful?
Another one? Let's look at the facts. That shows you're basing your argument on something real, not just emotion.
But emotion works too. You can say, "This issue makes me feel angry, and that's why I believe it needs to change." It's honest. It's real.
Yes, it's all about the balance. Emotion plus logic equals influence.
Okay, want to do a little exercise?
Always. Let's take a weak argument and make it stronger.
All right, here's the basic one. Public transport is good.
Meh. Not terrible, but kind of flat. Let's boost it.
How about, I strongly believe we need better public transport because it reduces traffic, saves energy, and helps low-income communities.
Oof, that's good. You gave a clear opinion, 3 reasons, and even a social benefit. That's how you persuade.
And did you hear the emotion too? I strongly believe. That phrase makes a big difference.
Let's give our listeners a few bonus phrases they can use when building arguments.
Say something like, from my perspective, or let's consider the facts.
Or, it's important to remember. Or, one reason I feel this way is.
Or even another way to look at this is. These phrases help you organize your thoughts and sound thoughtful, not aggressive.
And they help you keep the conversation going, which is what debates are all about.
Let's do one more role play, yeah?
Sure. Let's pretend we're in a classroom debate about whether schools should have uniforms.
I'll go first. I don't think school uniforms are necessary. They take away students' individuality.
And I respond with, that's a fair point. But from my perspective, uniforms create a more equal environment and reduce peer pressure. One reason I feel this way is because I've seen students bullied over clothes.
See what she did there? She didn't just disagree, she added emotion, logic, and structure.
And I acknowledged your point first. That's how we disagree with respect.
All right, listeners, we want you to try it too. Take one of your opinions and boost it. Add a reason, add some emotion. Try using one of the phrases we just practiced.
And hey, if you want feedback, drop it in the comments. We'll read a few in the next episode.
Next up, a beautiful moment, one of those shareable lines that you'll want to save, repeat, or send to a friend.
Oh, I'm excited for this part. Let's go. You know, Brian, after all this debating, there's one thing I keep coming back to.
What's that?
Debates aren't fights. Debates are bridges. They connect ideas, hearts, and voices. They help us reach each other, even when we disagree.
Wow, say that again.
Debates are bridges.
I love that. And I think that's something our listeners can remember, not just for English, but for life.
When you disagree with someone, it doesn't have to be a battle. If we debate with respect, emotion, and curiosity, we actually get closer to people, not further away.
And let's be honest, language itself is a bridge. When you speak someone's language, even if it's not perfect, you're showing them you care enough to connect.
That's why we started this podcast, right? To help people build those bridges.
Exactly. So let's break down that beautiful quote for our English learners out there.
Go for it.
Okay, listen up, Emily said. Debates are bridges. They connect ideas, hearts, and voices. That's such a strong sentence because it mixes a simple metaphor, bridges, with emotional language like hearts and voices.
And that's what good English sounds like. It's not just correct, it's moving.
So here's a little challenge for our listeners. Try to create your own powerful sentence. Think of something you believe in, something that matters to you, and turn it into a simple, emotional message.
Like a quote someone might want to print on a t-shirt or post on Instagram.
Exactly. You could say something like, language is courage. It's the decision to be vulnerable and connect.
Or, kindness is louder than any argument. Oof, that gave me goosebumps.
That's the magic of powerful, emotional language. You don't need to use big words. You just need to speak from the heart.
And you know what? If you like that quote, debates are bridges. Go ahead and share it, post it, tag a friend, tag us.
Yeah. Let's make this the clip that gets shared. The moment that reminds people that English isn't just grammar and vocabulary. It's about building understanding.
It's about using your voice and knowing it matters.
So if you're listening right now and you've ever felt afraid to speak up, we hope this moment gives you the confidence to try.
Because your voice can connect people, and that's what the world needs.
All right, deep breath. You ready to bring it home?
Let's wrap it up strong.
Wow, what a journey today, huh?
Totally. I feel like we didn't just teach English, we explored the real stuff. Opinions, emotions, connection, and a whole lot of passion.
So let's take a second to recap some of what we learned, because there was a lot.
All right, first up, vocabulary. We covered a ton of powerful words, words that help you speak clearly and confidently in debates.
Like opinion, perspective, argument, evidence, counterpoint, emotional appeal. That was just the warm-up.
Then we jumped into the big topics: climate change, social equality, technology. Each one taught us new vocabulary, like carbon footprint, discrimination, innovation.
And not just vocab. We worked in some awesome grammar too. Remember those opinion starters?
Yep, I believe, in my opinion, simple but powerful.
Then we explored modals to make persuasive arguments. We should. Governments must. People can. You sounded like activists.
And one of my favorite parts, those powerful imaginary sentences. You know, the what-if style.
Oh yes, our grammar spotlight. Those sentences where you dream out loud, like, if more people listened, we would solve more problems.
That structure gives your English heart. It shows you're thinking about possibilities and not just facts.
We also played around with comparatives, like technology is more helpful than harmful, or social media is less personal than a phone call.
And then, in our grammar workshop, we boosted your persuasive phrases. I strongly believe, let's consider the facts. That's a fair point, however.
So here's our challenge for you, dear listener. In the comments, write one opinion about technology or equality using one of the persuasive phrases we taught you.
Something like, I believe technology helps us connect, but we must protect our privacy. Or, if society treated everyone equally, we'd all have better opportunities.
And don't be shy. We read the comments, and your voice could help inspire someone else to speak up too.
Because that's what it's all about. Using your English to express what matters to you.
Not perfectly, not like a robot, but honestly, thoughtfully, with heart.
So, before we go, one final reminder. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and comment. It really helps more people discover our podcast.
And if you want to help someone else improve their English, send them this episode. Or better yet, share your favorite quote from today.
Maybe it's debates are bridges, or kindness is louder than any argument, or your own.
Just remember, your opinion matters, your words matter, and now you have the English to make them shine.
Whether you're debating climate change, chatting about social media, or just saying what you feel, your voice can make a difference.
And we'll be right here, cheering you on every step of the way.
All right, Brian, time to sign off?
Let's do it. I'm Brian.
And I'm Emily.
And this was the English podcast for listening and speaking. See you next time.